Yo guys, morning guys, welcome back to the Ahn Rho Project, the psychiatric, self-therapeutic, multimedia project to solve the problems, challenges, and obstacles in our lives, as well as a self-improvement process to reach the heights, goals, and ambitions that we have set for ourselves as those around us. If you'd like a brief introduction, a brief summary as to how we break down the Ahn Rho Project into domains of life, sub-series, analogies, and so on and so forth, you can check that out on the previous live streams for the past 3.5 years, straight to January 2021 and beyond, for more updated versions, including the copyright-free music, content, live stream schedule, and how we break down the live stream, divide it into 11 segments, 3 phases, and a 15-minute long stream. So with that being said, into segment 2, as usual, table of contents, just skip ahead 2 points, first of all. If you like introduction, you can of course just skip ahead. If you want to skip the introduction on any live stream, you can just move ahead by about a minute and a half as you're watching a YouTube, Twitch, or Facebook or vlog. It doesn't really matter. And then the second point, of course, this is a Solve 8.5 override, system override version 8.5. A rule to break all other rules of system, principle to free myself from the system and just focus on what really matters and be practical. So take a look on screen. What you see is what you get. We have some stuff we need to get through in phase 2 that has directly to do with phase 3. And it is, of course, as you see in the title, air freshener, having to do with we're finally getting to the residency and trying to switch up the room. And so let's just run through some of this kind of stuff here that you see on screen. On the bottom, okay, and let's go through the collage, okay, and then we'll get into individual. So there's a lot of stuff to do with SDS, so basically safety data sheets for air fresheners. I was kind of wondering, is this kind of stuff safe? Is something that I should be spraying around to make things more pleasant, to clean it up? In fact, there's a bit of controversy about that, so it's not exactly clear. At the very bottom here, see the safety data sheet. So we'll talk about this in a moment. And the bottom we have some philosophy, we have some media aspects. I kind of want to run over some brain activation, super brain yoga, interesting thing that was forwarded to me by a buddy of mine at a long-term care senior home. In the backdrop here, we have this kind of stuff. At the very top, you can see the collage in the middle, of course. But then right above it, you have some Dropbox kind of files. So you have some stuff having to do with rich text, jotting down the notes that are going through my head as I'm incubating and thinking and trying to figure out and designing what I should do for the room in terms of the different regions, A through to G, and the 65 sections of the room, how we're going to rearrange everything. So we'll get to that too, and then finally top right hand corner. Again, you can see a whole bunch of research here directly just going to Google into the websites themselves of Febreze, Renovit. So just once again, trying to get multiple sources of information. Is it safe? How does it work? All that kind of stuff. Now, obviously, some of these are biased information sources. So with that being said, let's dive into it. So usual phase 2, you can see, of course, phase 3, we're going to get maybe halfway into the stream. We're going to move to phase 3. You can see all of this, the bed's standing up right now. We're going to have to cover this. Very important we get this done today. There's probably going to be the new laptop arriving today as well. And then we're going to have to remove, move around, rearrange some of these things here, which we'll talk about. Some of the regions. You see region D4 and region F, and so that's a bookshelf. So let's start off with very basically, what we fear of doing most is usually what we most need to do. So this is Stoic Reflections. Once again, copyright notice, not my stuff, not my shit. Tim Ferriss, just check out Stoic Reflections on Instagram. One of the very few pages that I actually follow. So this is on Stoicism. And I think that you can sort of get, it's a very straightforward quote, isn't it? we usually, what we fear is usually what we need to do most. Yeah, it kind of is. So don't run away, confront it and face it, and blah blah. I wanted to talk a little bit about this. So with music gonna cut off now, music's gone. I ran this yesterday and I was talking over it too much, so I just want to run over it. So
we're accustomed to exercise to improve the body, but what about a workout to improve the brain?
This is interesting. It's sort of like calisthenics for the cranium.
Yeah.
CBS 2's Jennifer Sabi has been looking into who is doing this 3-minute-a-day brain training, and we're fascinated by it, Jen.
Yeah, well, people say it makes them smarter, Paul and Laura. It's called super brain yoga. And exercise intended to pump up cell and neuron activity in the brain. Alzheimer's patients, seniors looking to stave off memory loss, and kids in classrooms are among those who say doing it makes them smarter.
Okay.
Now take your right hand, cross over the left side.
A medical doctor in Los Angeles prescribes an exercise.
Inhale going down.
Inhale,
exhale coming up.
Yeah.
Not so as patients grow stronger, but so they become smarter.
He probably had a C average.
Looks
I
kind of
taught
funny,
him
doesn't
these
it? But
exercises.
anyways, I'm gonna
and
fast forward a little bit.
A teacher, a doctor,
So that's special
And then
ed.
you take the right hand and place
Here's
it over to the
a Yale
left
student or
earlobe.
whatever.
a Yale neurobiologist,
Yes, I
Neurobiologist
do it
even.
every day.
and an occupational therapist.
Occupational therapist. So it's very interesting.
This might be the key to help unlock these children.
All are among those experimenting
Now,
with an exercise to increase.
They've mentioned a lot of very interesting things in terms of the results. Apparently, some of these kids have really just improved by so spectacular results. So I don't know how credible it is, but it doesn't look too credible. But you know, that's something that you have to research on your own. So I'm gonna turn the music back on, and that was interesting. So we wrap up that video, like, for sure. Now we go on to, once again, we're back to the whole air freshener research before we dive into phase 3. So segment on safety data sheet. So we're doing a lot of research. Reaction of substance or mixture of the supplier, and this is the air freshener for, I believe, Renuzit. So Renuzit, this play on words for renovation, I suppose. Ooh, that's a bit loud. So you see all the different types here: pure breeze, sapphire waters, lavender, blah blah, right? And it's largely, you know, this is actually at the very end. When I first started to do a little bit of research onto this, I started just doing like this. I went to Febreze, because I had one Febreze and one for Renuzit. Renuzit is the one that was gel, cone gel, evaporation types, and then the obvious Febreze is an air spray. It's a liquid spray. Yeah, so instant odor eliminating. So I want to ask, you know, is it bad for you? Is it safe? Right, that kind of question. We got all these sort of questions floating around. Here's the website from Febreze itself on chemistry. Of course, they're going to say that it's safe. They're going to, you know, this is the company itself, and the scientists themselves are going to tout it as being safe. There's no difference between synthetic and natural, which is, you know, for the most part, as a chemist myself, I would say that's largely correct. There's not too much difference between natural and synthetic, actually. It's just where it's sourced from. However, we have to admit that there is some legitimate difference. And so I wanted to ask some other questions, like, why is it bad for you? What are the benefits? What are the risks? And it does contain certain chemicals. It says the hormone disruption, so on and so forth, based off of certain reviews in 2009, 2007 from, I suppose, third-party independent organizations. One you can see here, for example, acetaldehyde, ethyl acetate, all these DHT, liquid neurotoxicity, hormone disruption, allergy, skin stress. So, you know, again, it's, you know, this is a little bit of it's getting real deep and nitty gritty. Obviously, it's at the levels that they're put inside the rooms. You don't really have to be worried too much unless you spray it all the time. And so I'm only using it for like one-time use, or once in every like 2 years. We talked about the dangerous air fresheners, or blah blah. A test by the Environmental Working Group. That's the one that I was talking about. And did this kind of study. Released 89 air contaminants, but they only talk about 3. Febreze only says about 3. And the reason why they can get away with not disclosing all of this, as opposed to, you know, food nutritional contents, is because, you know, patents. So it's patented technology, they can say, and therefore they don't want to release it for competitors who might steal their formulations. And so, you know, that's kind of how they kind of get away with this. But it's a legitimate thing, and so, you know, it's this fight between health and transparency. Health and transparency. You know, which one is it? Business or chemistry? You know. So Snuggle Fresh. This one is actually not for Febreze. This one's for Renuzit. Like I said, we'll show you in a second. You know, in about 2 minutes. So, I want to show you, of course, what it actually looks like in that I have in the room that I want to test. So safety data sheet for Renuzit gel air. So once again. And you can see me now, we're starting to move more towards this Quora, the Google search, moving more towards kind of like blogs and stuff like that. And then we'll move to the SDS sheets, so safety data sheets. Air fresheners used to mask unpleasant odors for decades. There's kind of blurb here. A little backstory, but then here's like, there's a lot to read. The liquid air fresheners, going through evaporation and solvent type, going through those that have evaporate. So VOCs from gel, that's the one that's relevant here. Aerosol sprays use compressed gas propellants like butane or propane. That definitely doesn't sound safe. Should you give it on all air fresheners? Obviously, no, because not all are toxic. Especially not. The word toxic has been used. Oh, it's so sad what they've done to that word. I used to love that word so much, but now it's politicized. Okay, it's like an insult now. So tips for safer, fresher indoor air. Alright, I understand air's potential health effects, but you gotta make sure it smells good or whatever. So these are alternatives. They're trying to come up with alternatives here. And here's the safety data sheet. So we're kind of getting there now. And you can see once again the composition, no chemical names. They will not reveal per the patents, right? And it doesn't say here specifically. This is the 2019 one. And I tried to reach one of those review sites actually that would kind of give me a better breakdown, but I couldn't. It just kind of, the link didn't show up. So this is one of those like good guide. That one's not working. And then finally, like I said, I found another SDS sheet that actually details at least one compound. So you do see suddenly inhalation, skin contact effects, and stuff like that. Physical. I'm going back into inorganic and organic chemistry when I was back in university days. So carrageenan is the only thing here. However, they were revealed. So you can see the specific chemical identity and or percentage, exact percentage is protected as a result of patents, claimed patents. So there's not a whole lot I can say about that. And it's by Henkel Company. I suppose what was Henkel? The daily name and address of the chemical manufacturer is Henkel Company. So that must have renders it. All right, that's great. So okay, I think that's all right. So let's move up here to. We got about 3 minutes left. Please log in the next 6 days. So this, I'm gonna receive an email. All my accounts associated with the government system is expiring, so I just have to log in. And I want to mention also, so now we're getting to the residential. I can't believe that took so much time. I knew it would. So you take a look over here, wrap, spray, dust, right? This is me, and the very bottom has to do with the parcel, the scanned files for the parcel. So, but the most important part, right? I was starting to think about how I should rearrange the room, and it started like this, and then it became like this, and then it became like this. So you can see it got more and more complicated. I started thinking, oh yeah, I'm gonna move this region over there. So 01 to 08, let's run through it. Like stand up while I'm thinking instead of sitting down, which impedes thinking. Thoughts on to notepad, so just typing on here like you see. Spoken on audio, right? I'm gonna record my thoughts once in a while. Drink water, don't impede with food, or don't eat, just drink water. Measurements, so make measurements of the furniture around me as I'm walking around, pacing, thinking about things, trying to decide, moving things around, testing things around. Live stream the complete process as usual, like I'm doing now. Frequent usage, items, make sure that you can't really cover it, so don't bother. But the things that are in storage, yes, you can cover that but in the future, not immediately. That's just a low priority concern right now. 11, region. So now we're moving to the next kind of category of things we need to consider. Region by type, not by location, right? Naturally, because for example, all the equipment would stay in one region. We would call that one region, but it's specific for that kind of equipment, not based on the location of the room, like northwest or southeast corner. Static region, compromise. Mobile, static regions cannot compromise because like the closet has to stay the closet. You can't really move. But mobile regions like the shelving, you can move that unit around, or boxes or crates, or the bed, for example. Mixed regions like the shelves, you have to do the compromise according to the static one, obviously. And then wrap, spray, dust. That is kind of like the beginning processes of trying to clean up the room. So if I do that, you can see that there's actually up to 20 at very least. I was very certain. So I'm just gonna run through. Shit, so we got like 45 seconds. So here's the batch of everything, right? The batch collage. And what I'm gonna do is just pull away. We have like 30 seconds left. You can see the room. I can't believe it took the whole entire stream. This is stupid. But here's the bed. I took a bed. So this is region G, right? G, F, E, D. All right, C, B here is being completely broken down, and A. Main one I want to cover here is just the region G. First of all, we took out the sheets, they're washed, and now we gotta wrap up. So what we gotta throw away is this, right? Probably with this dry thing. I got 5 seconds. So this is the plastic wrapping around it. We're gonna wrap the new one from over here in region D. Gonna end the live stream now. So you can see I just took some plastic wrap from the workplace, class for items, and I'm gonna tape it, wrap it all together.